I was thinking the other day about how great a certain decade was. You know, a lot of people, they get nostalgic about the 90s, the 80s, people all about the 2000s now. But I was thinking, you know what's great? The 2010s. Underrated decade. In fact, I decided it is a certified fact that the 2010s were the peak of music. And so I thought, let's take a quick trip through the 2010s and I will make my case about why the 2010s were the single best decade of music. Let's start with breaking news. I have new merch. I've got this new one designed by my good friend Michael Shantz. It says, "Hell yeah, brother."
Hell yeah, brother.
And the Listen to New Metal shirt, as well as all my other designs. And you can check all of those out at the link in the description of this video. Let's start with Gucci Gucci by Kreayshawn, produced by our friend DJ Two Stacks, a certified classic of 2011. Can you believe this came out 11 years ago? Can you believe that? I sing this to myself in the morning. I look in the mirror and I say, this is one big room full of bad bitches. It makes me feel like a bad bitch. I have a funny story about Kreayshawn. I used to work at this tech company in San Francisco. The head of engineering is maybe like 10 years older than me, something like that. And he messaged me one day on Slack and he was like, "Oh, I found my old crush on LinkedIn." And he sent me a link to her profile. And I was like, Elka Zolot, why does she look so familiar? And I was like, oh shit, that's Kreayshawn's mom. And I started laughing and I was like, I know her daughter. And he was like, oh, this is awkward. Small world. My former coworker creeping Kreayshawn's mom on LinkedIn. What a time to be alive. That was the wild world of the 2010s. That's how we lived in the 2010s, and it was great. And so is this song. You're right, it's too much swag from one video. We couldn't handle it. You know, sadly, you know, Kreayshawn didn't really, I was really hoping that she would like blow up after this, and it kind of didn't really happen for lots of reasons. For example, her accountant, I think, stole all her money, right? So lots of reasons why she kind of got screwed. Very sad, but she's still out there doing her thing. Shout out to Kreayshawn. Yeah, a gem of the 2010s. And if that didn't prove to you that the 2010s was the peak of music, well, then the next song, I think, will, which is Quicksand by The Story So Far. Their breakthrough song, again, came out in July of 2011. Can you believe that this song is almost 12 years old now? Isn't that horrifying? Isn't it absolutely horrifying that this song is over a decade old? To me, there were a lot of other bands in the, you know, what I like to call the sad boy, Tumblr, pizza, pop punk kind of scene, like The Wonder Years, Real Friends, Knuckle Puck, a lot of bands in that scene. But I would say this is the single best song in that whole genre, I think, and the one that really, like, blew it up. Name a better pure pop punk record that's come out since then? I can't, because there isn't one. You remember stuff like this? When, like, you know, the girls would, like, reblog a picture of, like, some desaturated nature scene with, like, Neck Deep or Basement lyrics or something. The desaturated DSLR photo with, like, La Dispute lyrics over the top of it. That's right. The golden era of graphic design. That's right. We didn't know how good we had it. The Tumblr era was magical. Khakis and pizza. What a time to be alive. Also interesting, you know, Parker's wearing a Terror shirt in this. It's interesting that this is when, like, hardcore kind of came into pop punk also. Like, all those bands that I mentioned kind of had, like, 1 foot in hardcore and 1 foot in pop punk, which I thought was cool. Because, you know, it's sort of like the 2000s pop punk, which I obviously love, like Good Charlotte and Sum 41 and Blink and all that stuff. Like, I love that stuff. But, you know, it was a little, could be a little bit corny, a little bit sort of overly polished at times. And so I think bringing in, like, the hardcore kind of vibe was really cool. So shout out to The Story So Far. Again, proof that the 2010s was the best decade in music. Next song, of course, we've got to talk about what may be the single best genre of all music, which is crabcore, meaning all the bands that Joey Sturgis produced on Rise Records, Asking Alexandria and Capture the Crown, and just all the like zillions and zillions of bands that ripped off the Joey sound. But the best band in this whole genre, in my opinion, was Attack Attack, the creators of crabcore. I think that this album and this song, Smokahontas, I think this is their best song. Still, like, sounds so good. Little baby Caleb with his flat-ironed hair. So for anybody who doesn't know, Caleb from Beartooth was the singer of Attack Attack, while Austin Carlisle from A Mice and Men was one of the singers, and then Caleb replaced him. That's Johnny Frank, better known now as Bill Murray. So, you know, quite a star-studded lineup in Attack Attack. The flat-iron hair era was very important. Everybody knew this band from Stick Stickly, you know, which was like a viral thing and stuff. And like, that album was cool, but it was like, you know, it's kind of goofy, right? I mean, they were like little kids when they did it. And this album was just so much better in every way that I think to this day, this is still like the pinnacle of the genre. I don't think anybody has done this better than they did on this album. Do we excuse the white guy dreads? Look, mistakes were made, you know? Do we excuse the white guy dreads? Of course we do, because it's Johnny Frank. How could anybody not love Bill Murray? If you don't love Caleb and Johnny, you have no soul. Like, in all seriousness, they're both just like super, super talented and both just like genuinely really kind, nice people. And if you don't like Caleb and Johnny, you have no soul. The dubstep part, remember how everybody started doing dubstep? Well, you know who to thank for that. It's Attack Attack. The breakdown, we've got the jogging in place. It's not crabcore without jogging in place. Attack Attack invented dubstep. It's true. I love this part. Such a nasty breakdown. Even still, this one sounds great. Great band, great song, and once again, proof that the 2010s was the best decade of music. It's a fact. Speaking of scene bands, also, there was kind of this weird moment. The inventor of hardcore himself, Sleeping with Sirens, featuring Machine Gun Kelly, the inventor of hardcore. And this kind of reminds me of the weird moment in like 2014. Sleeping with Sirens went to like number 4 on Billboard or something like that. There was like Bless the Fall and Memphis May Fire and Issues all hit like the Billboard top 10. And it was just like such a weird moment that these like scene bands were like kind of almost mainstream. Imagine like in 1 year, 10 of these bands being in like the Billboard top 10, you know, like it's bizarre. But all that really matters is this. I'm the one on TV when these girls screaming, "Girl, how the fuck you gonna leave me?" Any white guy that does this, he says, you know I love you when we fightin'. That's what somebody says when he's trying to talk you out of calling the cops for domestic violence. I only did it because I love you. I'm so passionate about our relationship that, you know, my feelings just got the best of me. I'm sorry, girl. I'll never do it again, I promise. Anyway, shout out to Sleeping with Sirens, and of course, Machine Gun Kelly, the god of crabcore. On the rap side of things, we've got to talk about legitimately one of the most influential rap songs probably of all time, certainly of the last like 20 years, I Don't Like, by Chief Keef. I remember when this came out, my friend Sean sent it to me. I mean, we didn't know at the time. We just thought it was kind of like wild, this like grimy video of them in this apartment. We had no idea at the time how important it was going to end up being. Yeah, we probably saw it on World Star. That's probably what it was. The beat is filthy. It's so distorted and just like over the top. Every line in this song is a hook. Like, the beat is super catchy. It is no surprise to me that this blew up the way it did, and that he just like, he legitimately changed the game. Like, every young rapper now, if you ask them who their influences are, you know, Chief Keef is going to be one of the people that they said. I would say that around this time, the first thing that really like changed the game was Hard in the Paint by Waka Flocka, which was from like 2009 or 2010. And then like a year later was this. So like Hard in the Paint was sort of like the precursor of like drill. And then this song is like what really sort of defined the template for drill as we know it. And it still holds up. It's incredible. Hard to believe that this was like 10 years ago, the 10th anniversary of it. So legitimately, this song is incredible, completely changed the game. And again, more proof that the 2010s were indeed the very best decade of music, because this shit holds up. That's why. Switching things up a little bit, you already know, just from looking at this frame right here, you see these three guys walk up to you at a Beyblade tournament. What do? You turn around and leave. Because you know that there is no way you're going to ever beat these three kings at anything ever. Look at the size of this wallet chain. Look at that cross around his neck. Look at Luke Bryan here rolling up in his skinny jeans. This guy looks like he's in Blessed by a Broken Heart. The birth of bro country 10 years ago changed the game, just brought a level of pure Chad energy that to this day, I don't think anybody is equal. What had happened was Kenny lost. This is How We Roll by Florida Georgia Line. If you don't want to be one of these two men right now, you have no soul. I like this move here. The youth pastor hand rub. You know what? This guy should be in Memphis May Fire. I feel like he's got a lot of that kind of energy. The like douchey youth pastor kind of energy. I mean, the song is terrible, but it's the vibe. It's the vibe. He is about to finger blast your girl, and you're going to let him. You going to tell that guy to stop? Hell no. Exactly. These guys smashed so many 10 out of 10 dyed hair blondes. That's right. All of them. Imagine where their fingers have been. That's all I'm going to say. If their fingers could talk, imagine what stories they would tell. Just imagine. Rolling into town. I like this guy. I don't know what you call this kind of dancing. His like weird jumping country line dancing shit in his like head to toe motocross gear with a 10-gallon hat. The ladies love him because that's how they roll. None of these dudes have done a real day's work in their life. Damn right they haven't. You know who has? You. So who's the real sucker here? These guys in their wallet chains hanging out with 10s on the back of this flame-covered Kenworth truck? Who's the real loser here? I think we know. I'd kill to be one of these guys. I would kill to be one of these guys. You know, is it good music? I mean, no, it's terrible. It's terrible. But it's also great at the same time because it's about the vibe. You know, back in the 2010s, you didn't have to apologize for being this person. You didn't have to apologize for being a Chad. So that's why this song is evidence that the 2010s were the best decade of music. Exactly. It's just fun. It's not high art. Exactly. And it doesn't need to be high art. It's just fun. Next up, another 2010s classic. You know, back when we could still have fun, when things didn't have to be so serious. In Friends We Trust by your boys, Chunk No Captain Chunk. And they ask the most important question. Hey dudes, are you ready to? And I ask all of you, dudes, are you ready to? I'm ready. I've been ready to. Ever since 2010, I tweet at Bert, the singer of this band, every day. And I say, Bert, I am ready to. Awaiting orders. I have been ready and awaiting orders since 2010. He hasn't replied, but I'm sure he's just, any day now, he'll give the signal. What a song. This song is the most non-pretentious thing ever, and it's great. Exactly. You know, this was like basically the kind of the tail end of easycore. Easycore meaning pop punk with breakdowns, which was a great scene until, as they always do, the nerds came along and ruined it. When easycore was fun, it was amazing. You know, just, I don't know. It's just, it felt like the last time that pop punk was actually completely unpretentious and fun. It's kind of coming back a little bit. As much as I liked the Tumblr stuff, it got pretty pretentious. And the easycore scene, at least around this time, was a nice antidote to that. It feels like easycore could come back, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe it's too corny, you know, because it did get pretty goofy. You know what? I think easy core is too pure for this world. We couldn't have easy core today. It's too pure. But it was amazing when it happened. We didn't know what we had. We were blessed to have Chunk No Captain Chunk in the easy core scene in the 2010s. We just didn't know what we had. Still sounds great. Love it. These are my eternal friends. There it is. Another example of just how great the 2010s were. We also can't talk about the 2010s without talking about the EDM craze, the EDM fad that lasted, what, like 2-3 years maybe? It's like EDM was like the biggest thing in the world, and then Fetty Wap came along, and suddenly EDM didn't matter at all. There's a million EDM songs I could talk about, but this is one of my favorites, Alive by Cruella. I heard this in a boba shop full of ABGs. By the way, do you guys know what ABGs are? This is ABG, Asian Baby Girl. Basically, you know, Asian bad bitch. I heard this song at some boba shop full of ABGs, and I instantly fell in love with it. And I was like, now I see why people like this song. I get it. You hear something like this and you're like, I just want to go get wasted and party with ABGs out in the desert. If you're 30 plus, I'm sorry to say that your girl went to an EDM festival with an ex-athlete guy who she was kind of dating. That's right. Your wife got piped by some college athlete at an EDM festival. It happened. She never told you about it, but it happened. Is the song good? I mean, it's corny as shit, but it's great. You just gotta let go of, you know, all your sort of preconceived notions that you're not allowed to like this, because why wouldn't you like this? Is it corny? Of course it's corny, but who cares? You just gotta let yourself go. Let yourself enjoy things. That's my motto. Let yourself enjoy things. I want to be forever young, core. Exactly. Just let yourself enjoy things. Another good example of this, my personal favorite of all the like corny, big room, you know, Vegas EDM, DJ Snake. Every DJ Snake song kind of sounds the same, but they're all great. It's okay to have fun. Exactly. I love all this like Vegas twerk. This song makes me feel like I took 5 shots of tequila. Exactly. Remember, people, if there's anything you take away from this, remember, it's okay to have fun. Not all music needs to be serious. Not all music needs to be like high art or needs to like, you know, be making a statement, and it doesn't need to be heavy or edgy. It's okay to just listen to like some bro twerk because you want to go party with ABGs in the desert. There's nothing wrong with that. Fun is good for you. And there's nothing wrong with having fun. A lot of people out there are anti-fun. You know, sometimes I think of like metal in particular, alternative music in general, but especially metal. I call it the no fun club because there's like an unstated rule that you can't have fun. Speaking of fun, one of the greatest little mini trends of the 2010s is when we embraced eating ass, because there was not one, but 2, maybe even more songs about eating ass. And this is maybe my favorite one, which is Omarion featuring the piece of shit Chris Brown and Jhené Aiko, Supposed to Be. When I hit it, I'ma kill it like featuring the iconic line. I might let your boy show for me, but he gotta eat the booty like groceries. And then, of course, there's Nicki Minaj saying, he tossed my salad like his name, Romaine. I don't know where this came from. I'm just saying, one of the greatest inventions of the 2010s. In the 1960s, we put a man on the moon. In the 70s, I don't know, we invented the internet. A bunch of shit happened in the 80s, but none of that matters compared to the 2010s when we embraced eating ass. And all I got to say about that is slow clap. Slow clap for eating ass. Again, if I haven't convinced you yet that the 2010s was the best decade for music, you know, I hope by now you're nodding. You're saying, you know what? He's got a point. He's got a point. The popularization of eating ass was a monumental development of human culture. He's got a point. It's hard to argue. Aside from the ass-eating trend, another sign that the 2010s was a glorious time in human development was just this one song by Epicardiectomy, slam band from, I think they're like Czech or Hungarian, whatever, like European slam band. You can see from just this one video the decades of human potential that had finally crystallized into high art. I said before that not all music has to be high art, that it can just be fun. This is high art. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean in a minute. There we go, the drummer. His name is Blasting Dawn, by the way. Paul Wall on drums. That's not Paul Wall, that's Blasting Dawn. A few things to note here. Note that he has no toms. He's got 3 Chinas, a splash, and a bunch of crashes. No toms. Because who needs toms? Not Blasting Dawn. Is that a Soulja Boy hat? I never noticed that. I believe he's wearing a Soulja Boy fitted hat and a grill. What a legend. With like an 8-inch snare. No bassist, by the way, also. Who needs toms? Who needs a bassist? Not these guys. And an ice bell, of course. It's too advanced. We weren't ready. This is from 2014. We weren't ready for this. Untouchable drip. You may not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like. The singer and the guitarist wearing matching camo basketball shorts. He's got his neon Air Max 90s with a fitted hat. The other guy's got his Jamie Josta headband on. Of course, Blasting Dawn being Blasting Dawn. This is what peak male performance looks like. Riff raff on drums. That's it. Incredible. It is glorious. Listen, the 2010s, they gave us Gotta Eat the Booty Like Groceries, and they gave us Blasting Dawn. What more could you possibly ask for out of a decade? But that's not all. We've got a couple more pieces of evidence that the 2010s were indeed the best decade of music. For example, next song, Bad and Bougie by Migos.
You know, so we ain't really never had no old money.
Featuring 17-year-old Ruby Rose, a little awkward. Probably don't put 17-year-olds in your videos. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, thought. Rest in peace, Takeoff. Indeed, rest in peace. People have challenged me on this before, but I would say this song, I would say this is like in the top 10 best and most important rap songs of all time. I would put this up there with, like, you know, NWA, Fuck the Police, with, you know, Tupac and Biggie and Run DMC. Like, that's how important this song was. People argue with me. A lot of the rock people, they argue with me, but it's true. That's how important this song was. And I would say the same for Chief Keef, actually. The 2010s gave us Migos and Chief Keef, both of which just completely changed the game. To put it in terms that metal people will understand, this was like when Pantera came out, or Korn. Pantera or Korn came out, and all of a sudden everyone was like, oh shit, that sounds fucking amazing. We're gonna do that. Like, after this came out, I mean, trap was already a thing, of course, but after this came out, this is like what really kicked off the trap wave. They changed the game. It's true. I'm always hanging with shooters. Might be posted somewhere secluded. Great album, great video. Love Migos, changed the game. Everyone took this flow. It changed the way rappers flowed. It totally did. Everyone's copied them ever since. Anyway, the last song of the 2010s, obviously a little bit of a bittersweet one, but in my opinion, one of the coolest things to come out of the 2010s was emo rap. There's a lot of people you could mention in that conversation. Juice WRLD is one of them. Bones, XXXTentacion is one of them. But in my opinion, you know, the one that really stands out the most to me is Lil Peep. I think that this is the best song in emo rap, in the same way as, like, Smells Like Teen Spirit is the song that really defines grunge, and Break Stuff is like one of the songs that really defines nu metal. I would say this song, Witchblades by Lil Peep and Lil Tracy, to me is like the definitive emo rap song for lots of reasons. The lyrics, the vibe. You know, Peep and Tracy. Tracy was one of the very early people to do this style. So catchy. And to connect this back to Chief Keef, listen to the way that Peep sings, because I mean, it's not rapping, but like basically what he's doing is like the combination of 2000s mall screamo, like Fall Out Boy or My Chemical Romance or whatever, plus Chief Keef is basically what he did. Just emo Chief Keef. Yeah, all the Goth Boy Click stuff is great. Tracy probably did the Vamp stuff first, it's true. And pop punk rap too. What a great song, so catchy. Peep is one of the fucking most amazing hook writers ever in alternative music. Like, he recorded hundreds of songs and like almost all of them were fucking incredible. Like, he was just a ridiculously fucking gifted hook writer. The only thing that's a bummer is like this song is almost hard to listen to, knowing obviously, you know, that Peep died not too long after this came out, and the, you know, the lyrics are just so dark and stuff, and it's tough to watch and to listen to knowing what happened to him. But an absolutely amazing song, and I don't know, I feel like maybe I shouldn't have ended it on a bummer, but I can't talk about the 2010s without talking about Lil Peep, so there it is. I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The 2010s, the single best decade of music. Prove me wrong, motherfuckers. Just try to prove me wrong. You can't, because it is the best decade of music. I rest my case. There it is.